Whoa.
Perfect. Coming in hot from the back row. Ain't no stress for the bankroll. Pray so hard, got a halo. When you see me, gonna see glow. Shine so bright like a light, looking like stars in the sky. I've been up in the night, I've been up on the flight, I've been itching to write. Hey.
Yo, what's good, my fellow main characters? My name is Bam. Welcome back to the channel for another video. It's been so long since I felt compelled to talk about My Hero Academia. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my gosh. My Hero Academia, chapter 270, Horikoshi.
Incredible.
So obviously, there was going to be manga spoilers in this video because this is the latest chapter, so we're going to talk about it. So I literally am kind of speechless about this about this chapter, bro, because Horikoshi is really bringing Shigaraki to be that guy. Like, I've never felt such intense hype and anticipation for a villain in such a long time, man. The level of build-up we've been having for Shigaraki's return, the tension is thick. I just been thinking about how this man Shigaraki is gonna come out and literally going to devastate everybody. From the point in time when he started going through his pneumification process, I just sat here and really thought to myself, like, okay, there's one theory that he was going to get All For One's ability, or a copy of All For One's ability. That was one theory. And then there was a second theory that I had in my mind, that he was just going to get a huge amount of quirks. Like, he was going to get like 10 or 15 different quirks or something like that. Maybe just max 10. It definitely was foreshadowed on the movie that just came out. Was it Heroes Rising or Two Heroes? I forget. In that movie, you had the main villain 9, who had 9 quirks, and he was using those abilities in succession, and its only limiter was the fact that, you know, his body couldn't handle using all those quirks at the same time, and it was really destroying his cells. Just from seeing what 9 was able to do with all those quirks and the amount of versatility, because think about it, like, you see from just one character, right? You look at characters like Endeavor or Bakugo or Todoroki or even All Might, when they just technically only had one quirk or one ability at their disposal, and just think of how badass they actually are with that, just that one ability, man. Just with that one ability, they're so badass. And then you have a character like 9 that has effectively 9 badass abilities. His main quirk, the Storm quirk, the ability to like basically be Storm out here and just control the weather, already insane on its own. Like, you don't need much after that. Like, if you could control the weather, you don't need much other stuff after that. So every other power he had was basically overkill. So when thinking about Shigaraki going through the process of pneumification and becoming like a perfect Numu, and basically being able to keep his consciousness and technically, I guess, his human form, and just having all the quirks, I just thought to myself, like, Horikoshi could literally go anywhere he wants with Shigaraki right now, man. The amount of abilities that this guy could have, endless, bro. Endless. From a meta perspective of the actual author, Horikoshi, creating the series, it doesn't matter what heroes are there, Shigaraki is going to wipe them all out, because he could have the perfect quirks for the situation. But based on this chapter, based on chapter 207, it looks like Horikoshi went down the path of giving him All For One, and also giving him the original version of All For One, which is just something that I didn't really expect. If All For One was going to give Shigaraki All For One, I thought it would be a copy of All For One, but it's the original. Technically, you wouldn't think there was any significance between getting the original versus not getting the original, because they basically both do the same thing. If you look at the Doctor, basically the duplicate quirk does the same thing that his original quirk did. By giving All For One his original quirk, is basically him telling him that I am in complete service to you. Because keep in mind, in the very first couple chapters, at least I know the first couple translations of this, quirks quirks were originally called individualities. In the context of My Hero Academia, if you look at characters in correlation to their quirks, their personalities and who they are tends to be centered around their abilities in some cases. Just by the nature that their quirks are instrumental parts of how they interact with the world, it would make sense that their personalities and how they see things correspond to how their quirk functions. So yeah, so I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, that quirks in the context of My Hero Academia is linked to someone's identity. So the sheer fact that the doctor was like, here, take my identity. Here, take my identity, I'm in full service to you, is some strong symbolism of how much he had this appreciation and almost like this godly, almost like this idolization of All For One, almost as if he was a god. I didn't even think he referred to him as being like Buddha. Symbolism, and there's also functionality for giving Shigaraki the original version of All For One. And the symbolism of it is that All For One really, in some weird twisted way, really has a deep, I don't know if care is the right word, but some kind of deep just support and idea psychologically of Shigaraki. All For One's one of my favorite villains of all time, guys, because he just has this, he's a villain for the sake of being a villain, man. All For One is that guy that's like, guys, we can't have a hero society without a big bad. I mean, I had the power to be the big bad. Anybody wants to do it? Nobody? I guess I'll do it. He's happy to be the villain, man. He's happy to be that character, to play that role. You know, it's just this weird thing, because it's like, All For One, we haven't seen any, like, even the little bit of backstory we got for All For One and like his approach to life and everything, we don't see the big reasoning behind it. And that's what interests me so much about All For One, is that I feel like there's a big ass reason behind him being a villain. Like if you look at characters like Stain or Chisake, they all had some kind of, or Gentle, they all had some kind of inner reason that you as a reader, you as a person watching the series, can connect with, can at least understand where they're coming from. You might not agree with how they're approaching trying to implement their sense of morally righteousness in the world, but you get an idea of where they're coming from. And that's what always interests me with All For One, is that All For One gave me the feel like he had some deep underlying philosophical reason behind why he's a villain, but he doesn't monologue it, he doesn't verbalize it. He literally just takes his deep pleasure in being a villain. Like, I just remember the scene where All For One was like, why don't you smile, All Might? Why don't you smile? I just remember that scene and just thinking like, yo, this guy's an asshole for the purposes of just being an asshole. And so I kind of, because of that, it kind of gave me this feeling of like he had a little bit of this selfishness, like he always, at the end of the day, wanted to be the big bad and always wanted to be the villain. And so I always saw him as using Shigaraki, kind of like how Madara used Obito and Naruto. I always saw him as like using him for his purposes. But to give him his original quirk signifies that, yes, he believes his time is done, and now it's time for someone else to take up the mantle. Because I never thought All For One would do something like that. I never thought All For One would give up his original power, because All For One loves quirks. Now, he could still do his quirk collecting thing with the duplicate quirk, because effectively it does the same thing as the original quirk, except it's missing one key component. It's missing the original save file. If you remember backwards, when we first started meeting the vestiges within that dream kind of mystical mental place that Deku was able to go to, we find out that All For One technically is the first or ground zero for One For All. So technically he's part of the vestiges, but he's only part of the vestiges based on one thing: his quirk, All For One. But not just his quirk, All For One, the original version of All For One. So in this chapter, when he gives Shigaraki his quirk. I don't know if you guys notice it. Is this panel? Now, here's the thing. I can't show you guys the panels because Shueisha is out here flagging people for any little thing that posts up here. So, you know, your boy got to be a little bit more low-key about it. So, you know what I'm saying? So I can't really post what happened in the chapters. So I hope you guys read the chapters before even watching this video. But if you guys notice in the chapters, it was a scene right before Shigaraki basically disintegrated his whole family's lineage and hands and all his memories of them, which was intense. But you see a panel of someone looking, and it's not Shigaraki, guys. Like, it's not. I looked at that panel for so long. It's not Shigaraki. It's Deku. Deku somehow is there seeing it. He's seeing what's going on in Shigaraki's mind. Somehow, All For One and One For All are connected based on the succession line of how One For All works and the ability to kind of see and interact with these spiritual after images or shadows of these people that existed before, that all had the ability before. And because Shigaraki now has the original version of All For One, he's connected to Deku based on that succession lineage, which was just whoa. We also get more proof that it was actually Deku seeing this based on the Deku being like guys, he's coming. Next chapter is about to go insane. Shigaraki is about to turn up, man, because all the pieces are in line for Shigaraki and the League of Villains right now to really have a major comeback, because they're getting their booty handed to them this whole arc. The villain's about to come during halftime, because look at everything Shigaraki can do right now, guys. All he needs to do is pick up a phone and be like, Gigantomachia, what you up to? Master! I'm just over here, there's a bunch of heroes, you know, a bunch of heroes and the villains are fighting each other, but I'm just chilling, just waiting on your answers and stuff like that. I see. Could you do me a favor and just kill every hero you see there? Of course, Master! Of course! But we already know, even without All For One, Shigaraki is a force. Like, Shigaraki is equivalent to a nuclear bomb, just with his quirk alone. So, so I really feel sorry for that hero, like, sitting right next to him, man. X something, X whatever, like, he about to be X'd out of the series.
It's not funny! It's never been funny! It's never gonna be funny!
I can't even wait for the next chapter, guys. Like, chapters like this is what, it's what pulls me into My Hero Academia. It's what excites me, man. It's what makes me glad I chose this name, Black All Might, because I love My Hero Academia, boys. Oh, and girls. So, anyways, my fellow main characters, like this video if it made you smile, comment this video made you think, and subscribe if you want to see more. And always remember that you are the main character of your own story, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.